Hi, everyone. I'm Ryan Fowler with RyanFowlerSOS.com. If you're a C suite executive, entrepreneur, or high performance professional, there's a good chance this will resonate with you. On paper, your life makes sense. You're intelligent, capable, proven, and yet something still feels off. You procrastinate on high impact decisions you know matter. You push hard and then burn out. You succeed and still feel like you're one mistake away from being exposed. Or you sabotage momentum right when things are going well. Most people chalk this up to discipline, mindset, or stress issues, but that explanation is incomplete. What's actually driving these patterns lives below conscious mindset in what psychology calls core beliefs or subconscious core schemas. And until these schemas change, performance plateaus are almost inevitable. At the deepest level, performance is shaped by three internal models. Core identity schema, that's the first one. These are beliefs about who you are, your identity. Second is interpersonal schema. These are beliefs about other people. Third is world schema, beliefs about how the world works. These are not surface level thoughts. These are implicit predictive models your subconscious and nervous system use to decide what feels safe, what feels threatening, what deserves energy, and what should be avoided. They operate automatically. They run long before logic or strategy come online. Our mind is designed this way so we can act quickly on most things without burning time and effort to logically analyze every situation. They're tied to emotions that get triggered and strongly influence what we do or don't do. Now, here's a key insight. High performers don't fail because they lack skills. They stall because outdated schemas quietly distort how they apply these skills. So let's break this down. A negative core identity schema sounds like I'm not good enough. It sounds like I have to prove my worth. It sounds like if I stop performing, I lose value. At the executive level, this doesn't show up as insecurity, it shows up as over preparation, chronic overwork, difficulty delegating, and perfectionism disguised as high standards. Imposter syndrome is not about lack of competence. It's an identity model that says your value is conditional. Success doesn't resolve it. Success doesn't update or rewire these core schema. We see examples of this everywhere. I think of Kurt Cobain, Robin Williams, Marilyn Monroe. They were all superstars. Everyone loved them. They were fabulously wealthy and extremely talented, yet all had enormous internal struggles throughout their lives. Despite this all, and despite having it all, their lives all ended tragically. Ironically, for many, success may actually amplify certain negative schemas. When identity is fragile, the nervous system does strange things. It delays action to avoid exposure. It overworks to prevent rejection, or it unconsciously sabotages momentum to stay in familiar territory. This is why some leaders inexplicably stall right before a breakthrough. Interpersonal schemas answer one core question: what should I expect from other people? Negative versions include people cannot be trusted, authority figures are dangerous, or if I don't stay in control, I'll be undermined by others. In business, this creates micromanagement, poor delegation, decision bottlenecks, emotional distance from teams. Many executives believe they have high standards, but often what's really operating is a threat-based relational model. The cost is you become the bottleneck. Your team underperforms. You carry cognitive and emotional load that should never be yours. And paradoxically, the more successful you become, the lonelier leadership feels. World schemas define how your system predicts reality. The world is unforgiving. It's always a fight. If I slow down, I fall behind. This is where burnout is born. Because if the world is perceived as dangerous, scarce, unstable, then your nervous system never fully powers down. Procrastination in this context is not laziness. It's avoidance driven by threat perception. Your system says, this task feels risky, delay it. Even high-quality individuals avoid strategic decisions, stay busy instead of effective, confuse motion with progress. Over time, this leads to exhaustion and eventually disengagement. So now let's flip the model. When you take these negative schemas and rewire them with a neuroscience-backed method called memory reconsolidation. I explain this in more detail a little later. So now let's flip this model. So an optimized positive identity schema sounds like I'm inherently capable. My value is not conditional. I can handle uncertainty. And this is what you feel and believe deep down automatically, subconsciously. This creates faster decision making, reduced overthinking, less emotional reactivity to outcomes. Confidence becomes quiet and stable, not performative. You stop chasing validation, and paradoxically, others trust you more. When interpersonal schemas shift, delegation becomes natural, feedback feels natural, not threatening, authority no longer triggers defense, leadership stops being exhausting. You move from I must control everything to I can design systems and trust people. This is where real scale becomes possible. When the world's no longer perceived as hostile, stress drops dramatically, focus sharpens, procrastination dissolves, not because you force discipline, but because action no longer feels dangerous. This is how executives regain strategic thinking, creativity, long-term vision, and burnout fades not from rest alone, but from safety restored at the nervous system and subconscious level. And here's the overlooked part. These schemas don't turn off at work. They're in you 24/7 and they're automatic. So when optimized, people report more presence with family, less emotional withdrawal, better romantic relationships, greater overall life satisfaction. Because when identity is stable, others are safe, and the world feels navigable, life stops feeling like a constant test. So here's a takeaway. Performance problems at the top are rarely about skill gaps. They're about outdated internal subconscious models running modern demands. When core identity, interpersonal, and world schemas are aligned with reality, not past threat, high performers don't just work better, they live better. If this resonates, you're not broken. Your system is just doing what it learned to do very well for a world that no longer exists for you. And when those schemas update, performance follows naturally. So you're likely now asking, okay, this sounds great. I have some of these struggles. I want to resolve them. What now? Well, the answer is a neuroscience-based protocol called memory reconsolidation. It was discovered in the early 2000s by scientists at New York University, and it has since been tested and found valid by many other scientists. So unlike conventional therapies, which just teach you how to manage or think differently about your negative schemas, it's like cognitive behavioral therapy. Memory reconsolidation is different because it actually erases these old subconscious negative schemas from your brain and installs new positive ones. You literally feel different. It's not symptom management, it's subconscious transformation. Memory reconsolidation has very slowly been adopted into various practical applications to help people, but despite the science convincingly showing it works, it's still niche. It's not widely adopted. It's at the very cutting edge of how we rewire subconscious systems to help people. But by the way, AI knows all about the science behind memory reconsolidation. So here's a prompt for you, just right there. And put that in, ask AI about memory reconsolidation. It will tell you all about it. So I learned how to do this for myself over 13 years ago. I've helped over 600 people over the last 7 years. You can benefit from this technology today by working with me. Here's a few examples of my own clients, true stories, and what this science-backed transformation actually looks like.
One session with Ryan, I'm a totally different person.
It means that deep down, I felt that I was not good enough. I felt that I was not worthy. I felt that I had this deep imprint of I don't deserve it. And when I let that go, it changed everything, even the taste of food. And when we did this session, I mean, it was so free because finally I was back to who I was as a kid. I became playful again. I didn't have to carry all this luggage. What you've done in one session, it took me more than 50 years to try and erase it. So you've done it in one session. you've liberated. Like I was slamming the accelerator, I was flooring the accelerator, slamming the brakes at the same time. Bottom line is I was stuck. And then you came and unstuck me magnificently.
And then after the session, I was so relaxed. I felt like this after my Vipassana meditation retreats. You know, when I meditated for 10 days straight, like 7 hours a day, I felt like this after these retreats. But I felt like this without meditation. I was like, something deep changed. I was walking through the streets of Berlin. I lived in Germany back then. 3 months later now, 6 months later now, I'm independent. I'm living with my girlfriend in Poland. I'm having my own business. I had 2 newspaper articles published about my story because I had the guts to go for it. Just my whole life. You know, as soon as this changed, this changed. It's insane. I think they have no idea what is going to happen to them. You know, it has way more benefits than I thought. It's worth like 10 times more for sure.
You know, Ryan Fowler over here is the best in the business. He's absolutely changed my life like I could have never imagined. But if you told me I'd be where I'm at 3 years ago, I'd be like, get the hell out of here. There's no way. Okay, I'm crushing it in every field imaginable, and I can't thank you enough, Ryan. You've absolutely changed my life, my man.
A couple of days later, I'm talking to my business partner in the real estate firm, and he tells me, "You look different. You don't seem like you're jumpy. You look like very peaceful." He heard me make some phone calls, and he said, "Man, that's a big difference. You sounded like you were telling the dude, I'm giving you a chance for something good. You didn't sound like you were begging him, like, oh, please buy this for me. This is going to be really good. I really need this commission." He said, you sounded completely different. Don't wait. I'm seriously, do not wait.
You're trapped in your own cage to a certain point. Yeah. And so that's the biggest change before and after our sessions. I didn't feel like that. I was able to recognize those core mental models in my head and basically completely changed my life. As I studied it more, I noticed that it just seemed like something that everyone really needs. I don't think there's anything more powerful. It's just in terms of just pure effectiveness and it's so fast and so permanent.
Prior to the session, there was more chatter in my brain. After the session, it was just more calm and clarity. I didn't have the buzz, the typical buzzing that people have in the voice. I don't have any voice in my head anymore. I think that's a gift that you give people, and that's a gift you gave me, because when you don't have that mental chatter, it really is a relief. Look, put your ego aside.
Yeah.
Surrender to the process that Ryan offers, and on the other side of it, you'll be a better human being. Don't you want that?
So if you feel this might be a fit for you, click the link in the description to book a no-cost one-on-one initial video call with me. We'll explore next steps and see what's a good solution for you. Regardless, I hope you found this information helpful. Thank you.